Hi, my name is Gage.
And my name is Kim, and this is the Helping Henderson podcast.
And our goal here is to reinstill the sanctity of marriage and family. So we hope that you enjoy this episode. And if you do, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And as always, we help.
And he heals.
Yes, and we are just here to have another general conversation, dialogue, and just, I think, expand the mind, expand topics just on certain issues that we deal with, especially from a Christian perspective. And today, just really diving in on what it's like to leave and cleave, and what does that even mean?
Leave and cleave.
What does that mean?
There's a lot of meaning to that. I wanted to start off with how it was really hard for me to leave.
You got real serious off the bat.
Yeah, it was really hard for me to leave the Cowboys and cleave to my husband's team, the Rams, which is why I'm in this jersey. But I just want to let you know.
I'm so depressed. It's a beautiful jersey, especially this year. These last couple of years, it's been really good for you.
Honestly, I'm a Rams fan because we're a Rams house. I follow players, but
when we got married, they won the Super Bowl.
They did. And so, I will say, I don't think I jumped on the bandwagon, but I did jump into
No, you got married in, so
a marriage.
Okay.
And so I feel like when I married my husband, I had to leave all the things behind.
Yes, you did.
And I had to cleave to my amazing husband.
Yes, you did. And because of that, you are reaping a reward and a benefit in heaven.
Whoa.
By being obedient to your father and submitting to your husband.
Whoa, that's crazy work. That's so deep.
Yeah, I mean, it's big facts.
It is.
But the thing about it is the reason why, because I've been a Rams fan since St. Louis.
Yes.
So and I think I gotta use this space to be very transparent to all the Rams fans out there. I judge a lot of Rams fans. I'm not gonna lie. I judge a lot of you guys. And here's why.
Wait, I judge a lot of you guys. Who's you guys? Me?
Well, not you.
Oh, okay.
You're fine. But to those who are listening, if you're a Rams fan, I will. And because here's my gripe. Here's my gripe.
What happened?
There's a lot of Rams fans who don't remember the Mark Bolger era.
I don't know who that is.
Exactly. Mark Bolger, Sam Bradford, Case Keenum. We went through almost like a Browns-like slide from 2001 to about 2016, 2017. So for about 15 years of my life, 15 years of my developmental stages.
That's so deep.
It was very rough being a Rams fan.
You are going through.
There was no hope.
Yeah.
We would have like Steven Jackson doing great things and just fall off. We would have a great draft pick in Tavon Austin, Chris Long. We would have some really like phenomenal players and could not put anything together.
Yeah.
We'd bring in Jeff Fisher as a coach and do nothing for us.
Yeah.
And then finally, the Lord sends us Sean McVay.
Woo! I like Sean McVay.
And this man anointed with holy oil.
Whoa.
Was like manna from heaven.
Not manna from heaven.
for the Rams fan.
No. You know what? I think a lot of it though, like people came, like Rams fans were not they were Rams fans when they were in LA. Then they left to St. Louis. And then I feel like they were like, what happened? And then they were like, okay, we're going back because they came back to LA. So
I don't think that.
Oh, okay.
I don't think that. I think what happened was there was a lot of people who were like either Raiders or default Charger fans. But you're living in LA. Yeah. And you want your team. And so now that LA has a team.
Who is really like a Chargers fan though? I judge them.
I don't judge Charger fans. I just feel bad for them. It's
I promise you everybody, like, because if I probably don't stop you, you will keep going. You could talk about the Rams all day, every day. I'm going to say this is not about football or a Rams team or like any other football team. But continue if you want to just wrap that thing on up.
I have to wrap it up?
Yeah, because I know you will talk about it all day long if I don't stop you. Well, I got to put a time limit.
Yeah, no, you will. I just love football. It's such a paramount. Even like so I'm trying this new beard stash situation going on.
Yeah, where'd you get the beard stash from?
That was Dak Prescott all day. That was Dak. That was good old Dak. I think, you know what it was? Like, I'm not a Cowboys fan. I do not like the Cowboys at all. I don't like them. But
I'm a Cowboys fan though.
whatever. And not you even should. Anyways, that's a whole nother story. But I really like Dak Prescott. I think he's a cool man. I don't really know his values or anything, but I think he's a cool man. Great athlete, tremendous quarterback. I feel like he's getting a lot of slack these last couple of years for no reason.
Yeah.
Because when you got Jerry Jones just coming in here doing dumb stuff, it's like, what can I do with this? You know?
We don't want to talk about Jerry. Jerry's he's good for the Cowboys, but he's also bad for the Cowboys.
Yeah. Anyways,
just be an owner.
Yeah, and
don't be everything.
Yeah, delegate. Well, great leadership is found in great delegation, in my opinion. But anyways,
Yeah, on that note.
So anyways, I was looking at, I saw Dak this year and I was like, okay, we got like a little bit. Cause I remember one time when I was like growing my beard all the way out.
Yeah.
And, we had Gigi and it was COVID. I had like the really long beard and I shaved it off and I kept the mustache. And I asked you, I was like, can I just do the mustache? You're like, yeah, no, it's either all or nothing. So then I saw Dak and I was like, oh, you can have like a little beard stubble with a stash and keep it cool. I'm like, all right.
I'm glad you talked about it because what happened is everybody, as we were preparing for this podcast, all of a sudden my husband, he's in the room getting ready for a long period of time. And then I'm like, what's taking him so long? But, I didn't question anything because, he's getting ready. Next thing I know, he walks out and I'm looking at him like, whoa, what happened to your beard?
Something's different.
Something's different.
I was like, I went for it.
Yeah, so it's cool. It's fine. I think that, there's a little bit of individualism that we get to have as single people, not single people, we're married people. But I'm saying there's that individualism that you still got to hold on to because that's who you are.
100%. Yeah. So it's like when you want to get your hair braided and I want a mustache, it's just that's what we're doing.
That's what we're doing. Yeah. And I think I like it.
I'm glad. I'm glad. Thank you, Dak.
You look good to me.
Dak Prescott, if you ever watch this, I appreciate you. Keep doing great things. But I never wish you success against the Rams.
Whoa! That's wild. That was crazy work, but anyway, dang, that was so for real too. And I felt that in my spirit. Like you meant that.
Oh yeah, I meant
that.
So
today we're talking about Genesis chapter 2, verse 24. And it talks about, therefore a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. Talking about leaving and cleaving today, y'all. And sometimes it's really hard to leave and cleave. You know what I've watched?
You want to know why it's hard to leave and cleave?
Hold on, I just want to tell you this one thing that I watched the other day.
Cool.
So I watched this something, I don't even know how it came on my algorithm, but it was like this guy, and it might have been an arranged marriage just because it was like the culture that I saw, and I saw this whatever. But anyway, this young man was getting married to his wife and he was boo-hoo crying. And then his mom was standing next to him and they're taking the family photos, but he was holding on to his mom more than he was holding on to his wife. And I was like, that was weird. But at the same time, it's one of those things where it's it's really hard for some people to really leave their families and cleave to their spouse. And it's
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. And I think it is hard because it's especially depending on how you're raised or what home you're raised up in, your family is your central support. And so like that, in the drop of a dime, you become the sole support of your family. Remember our first.
So that's scary.
Okay, think back. Remember our wedding night.
Y'all. So our wedding night, here's what happened. Let me tell it from my vantage point. So we're in bed and we're just talking about how the wedding was and how beautiful it was and all the things, right? Now, mind you, I was a single mom before I had been married. So it was me, Gage, and then my daughter, but she was at my mom's house because we literally had just got married and we were preparing for us to go on our honeymoon. So my daughter was staying with my mom. Next thing I know, we're sitting in bed. It has to be about 1 o'clock in the morning. And we're having the best conversation in the world. Next thing I know, my husband jumps up and he starts panicking through the house. He's like, oh my gosh, I am a father and I'm a husband. And I have to, he started figuring out what all this life plan that needed to happen, literally 24 hours after we got married.
Yeah.
And like full on panic mode. And I'm like, calm down. What's going on? Why did you just jump out of bed?
I'm responsible.
And it was
for
like,
life.
he was like, I am responsible. And I mean, the weight of everything hit you, not to the point where you were like about to run out the house or anything like that, or you made a bad decision, but it was like the weight of responsibility of what commitment you just made hit you and was like, I have to get to work and like, I got to go plow the ground. Like, it was like, literally, like, God, what are we going to do?
Like, there's no more just like flying by the seat of your pants. There's no more just like, throwing things and hoping they stick. It's like, yeah, you got a child to raise and you got a wife to take care of.
Yeah.
And do you want to have more kids? So yeah, figure this thing. It was like, not even figure this thing out. It's like, you don't even have a choice to figure this thing out. Have it figured out, bro. And I was like, oh, this is scary.
Yeah.
Like, and leading up to the marriage, like, you're thinking about that, but it's one thing to think about riding a motorcycle. It's another thing to be on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
And once you're finally on it, it's like, oh, there's a lot of power here. And one wrong turn, one bad decision is life altering.
Yeah.
And instead of just for yourself, it's now for everyone.
Yeah.
And so that's like, I think one thing that makes cleaving like so difficult. But this is another thought that I had that makes cleaving very difficult. I'm about to get into somebody's business. Therefore, a man shall leave his father and his mother and hold fast to his wife, and they shall become one flesh.
Okay.
You want to know why it's hard for people to cleave?
Why?
It's because you've already become flesh with so many other people. So you were supposed to become one flesh with one person.
You didn't have to
but you out of here fleshing. And you just got a lot of fleshies and fleshing all over the place. Ooh. So now you can't really commit and cleave to this one person because you just fleshed out.
Dang, Pastor. You
didn't
have to do it.
I was like, that's one flesh with, so that's why it's hard for you to cleave because you just, you got a lot of skin tags.
Okay. Sir. Okay, no, but that's real talk. So I don't think it's necessarily that it's one of those things where it makes it hard to cleave, but what it does do, it definitely impacts your decision because of the fact that you have had other relationships and it's like other situations prior to going into this like marriage that of course that plays a role.
Yeah, well, because everything you're doing now, like, you're not doing, it's not your first time experience.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not going to say everything.
Yeah.
But if you've cohabitated before.
Yeah.
Like I've cohabitated with my ex before.
Yeah.
Right? And it didn't really affect us because like we were able to create our own thing, but I do know that for some people it can impact them. Well, this is how I used to do it over here.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, I like when my eggs are cooked like this.
Yeah, don't be comparing me to nobody.
But that's what makes it really hard for some people to become in one flesh, because if you have a spirit of comparison, all right, you're gonna compare from the way that you cook your eggs to the way that you cook in the sheets. Like it's cooking is
getting in everybody's business.
I'm just saying. So now you can't, like, you're not really as happy as or comfortable as you want to be and like really cleaving to one flesh and embracing and enjoying this experience because you're constantly comparing to all the stuff. Even like that like homeboy crying with his mom.
Yeah, but even I think that it's one of those things because like, okay, that's fair. You're comparing it to something else, but even if let's say you're a husband and you're a son, obviously, to a mother and a daughter to a father, where you're also comparing that to like your spouse. You don't take care of me the way my dad did. You don't take care of me the way that my mom did. And like that leaving and cleaving aspect really becomes a thing because now you're comparing that level of care that you had from your previous, like whatever your dynamic was prior to stepping into this. Now you're looking at it as like my wife doesn't provide that, or my father doesn't, my husband doesn't provide that. And so now there's that constant like, comparison in the relationship that really does impact the marital dynamic. And like the leave and cleave, like if we talk about it from that perspective, like really what it means biblically is that in marriage, a man is to leave his family, join his wife, and unite with her. Though this process establishes a new home distinct from the parents, it does not sever all ties with the extended family, the clan. And in biblical period, extended families were quite close and interdependent, which is very true. But in this particular case, the words be joined speak to both physical embrace and more general aspects of marital bonding. In marriage, a man and woman are a we, not just a me and you. One flesh suggests that both a physical, sexual bonding and a lifelong relationship, there are still two persons, but together they are as one. The reason why I think that this is very important to kind of establish, though, is because if you don't have that understanding of like when I now get married, my job is to cleave to my spouse, and now it becomes decisions that we make. If we put it in like practical context of right now, there's some marriages, there's some relationships, there's even some probably like currently engaged where my husband or wife cannot make a decision without the other parent's input. And that other parent's input is constantly impacting how we're going to move as a unit. And that's the issue that like happens.
You mean like their parent?
Yeah, like their parents. So like think about it from this perspective. Me and you are married. And as me and you are married, now I go through the process of saying, hey, Gage, I'm getting ready to make this decision, but I'm going to call my mom and my dad. And my decision is not to consult with them, but like they're making it with me and for me and excluding you.
Or better yet, hey, I talked to my mom and my dad and I think we should do this.
Right. Exactly.
It's like, okay.
Okay, you've now made this decision with your parents. Where was I?
Yeah.
And so like that really does have and play a huge part in how people like marriages, especially at the onset of a marriage, because this is a time frame of when a couple gets married, they're learning how to now like navigate the tension of this was my old like family dynamic, but now this is my husband and my wife. And so now how do I cling to them? How do I leave this former life to now cling to this person that I'm supposed to kind of have every level of intimacy with?
Well, but you also do that by having supportive in-laws.
Yes.
And so you have in-laws that are saying, did you talk to your husband? Did you talk to your wife? Why are you coming to me with that? Like, what did they say first?
Yeah.
And I think we're in a day and age where divorce separation is so prevalent, and if it's not divorce or separation, we just haven't seen really healthy interactions or healthy dialogue and communication within our like family structures and marriages.
Yeah.
And so we don't know what it looks like, but we also don't know how to promote it, and we don't promote it, and it's not reinforced. I would say one thing my mom does very well is like, and you'll tell her like your son's getting on my nerves, and she'll be like, no, that's your husband. Like,
she will. She'll be like, your husband.
Yeah, like because in that, when you're looking in the biblical cultural context of marriage, they were very clear, right? That no, you are leaving, you've left, go be with your husband now.
Yeah.
I will support you however I need to. I will love you, but you have a husband. Go be with your husband while I continue to take care of me and my family.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's not that we're no longer family members, but you now have a new covering.
Yeah.
And I think in today's age, people don't like to give up their covering.
Help me understand.
So like,
that's good though.
Right? Like I even think about it with our girls. Like, I love our daughters. But I've been around long enough and I've seen men long enough to where I don't really trust men.
Yeah.
Especially with my own personal life experiences.
For sure.
So it's going to be very hard for me to trust when my daughters start dating.
Yeah.
Right?
So let's walk through that. Let's unpack that. So what would be something that you would look at as like a spouse? Your daughters come to you because you have 3, which is like, wow. You have 3 daughters that come to you and they say, hey, Dad, I want to get married. What is it that you would be looking in like for that would not be a situation where you would now begin to meddle? Because I feel like if, let's say this son-in-law or potential son-in-law doesn't meet that, I feel like you would meddle in that relationship.
No, I don't think I'd meddle.
Okay.
Because you made a choice and decision.
Okay.
Now you made your bed, you have to lie in it.
Ooh.
The only thing that I will say is, and I'm very clear on this. I was on a run earlier today and I was thinking about this. Like, and I would tell him, her, his parents, everyone, if I ever find out that he puts his hands on her or abuses her in any way, and I get the call, just make sure you guys call the cops.
That's a fact.
Like, that's the only thing that I'd make very clear towards everyone.
Yeah.
If there's any sort of emotional, mental, physical, sexual, psychological abuse, and I find out, make sure you guys call the law enforcement. Other than that, you're on your own. Like, you made the decision. Yeah. Why do I say it like that? Because in this house, I should have already given you an example of what to be looking for.
That's so good.
In this house, we should have already had the dialogue about this type of man, right? Yeah. And so if you see the example, if you've had the dialogue, then I would be able to trust that you'd make a right decision. Yeah. Now, my only really stipulation is that he has a personal relationship with Jesus Christ.
Absolutely.
Other than that, everything is just semantics in here and there. Like, for sure. And I'm not going to get lost in the weeds.
And you're right. I don't think, and I definitely use poor language. I don't think that you would be a meddling father. I think that we would be one of those who are really much so like, hey, you got to go back to your husband. Like, but I would want to make sure before that happens that they do choose the right, and coaching them and talking to them through how to like pick the right person, and making sure that they are healed within themselves, where that they don't pick somebody out of their own hurt, pain, or something that they haven't really dealt with.
Now what I would do though is try to have a relationship with the young man.
Yeah, for sure.
And I would try to communicate as much openness to where it could be like, if you ever need anything, like, as far as like questions or like any consultation or like counseling, like whatever you need, please come to me and talk to me, so that I can help you make the best decision you need to make for you and your family.
For sure. Which I think that you had that with my dad, and I think that was demonstrated pretty well between like your relationship with my father. But my father was very much so the one who would be like, have you talked to your husband? And not that I would really consult my dad, but I would genuinely say that it was one of those situations where before like we got married, my dad was involved, but even after we were married, my dad was very much so always promoting me and you and the health of our marriage.
Yeah, he did a great job at that.
Yeah, before he passed away, he definitely it was like, I know my dad had peace in like leaving this earth when he said, you have a good man. And I was like, I know, Daddy. But he was like, no. I'm telling you, you have a really good man. And I knew what he was telling me in that moment, because that was literally the last words that he said to me, was letting me know how affirming he was in the man that you are. And so I think that's something that's so powerful to say, because my dad really did prepare me that I had a safe covering in you. I just think though, towards people who really do battle with I don't really know how to get not away from, that's poor language. Like, how do I leave this family that I love so much and care for so much for? And how do I now go to become that one with my husband or wife, and do it in a way that really breeds respect? If I can ask you, Gage, as a therapist, because this is something that you truly do deal with. And I think when we've even counseled marriage couples and things of that nature, one of the things that we have heard at times would be the dynamic of the other family. And they're like, man, they're just I can't get moms out my business, or I can't get pops out my business, or every single time my husband or my wife has to make a decision, they're including their family. And it's like, how come they're not including me? If I can ask you as a therapist, why is that so, why is that a problem within a marriage? Genuinely.
I have to apologize because I heard the question, but I didn't hear the preface. And you know how my brain works?
Yes.
Because I had another thought.
That's okay.
It didn't align with where you were going. So I'm so sorry.
That's okay. But so the preference of what I was saying is just kind of saying hey, what happens when that's that other person is like saying the spouse, the husband or the wife is like, my spouse cannot make a decision unless they include their parents. And this has impacted my marriage. And like, I don't know what to do with that. And how, when you have dealt with that, or when we have dealt with that, and people coming to us, whether it be in the counseling that we provide or because you're a therapist, why does that impact the marriage so bad by consulting the other, like the parents before consulting the spouse?
Well, because there's just no trust.
Mm.
Like that's the root of it. You don't trust this person. You trust other people more than you trust this person. You value other people and their decisions more than you value this person. And so it becomes less of like really about the decision that's being made and all the decisions that are made, but more about the underlying message that's being sent. I don't trust you. I don't respect you. I don't value you. I don't believe that you can take us in the way that we need to go. So I'm going to go over here and do it.
Ooh. I'm glad you said that, though, because that's big. And I think that that's something that's a huge uncovering because, like you said, it has less to do with the actual, like, decision that's being made, but it has more to do with the underlining fact that you don't trust me.
Yeah.
You don't trust my leadership. You don't trust my opinion. You don't trust that I have the best interest for you or our family.
And so, like, and it may be right. Like, yeah, if we do it the way your parents want us to do, we'll get a house right now, but we won't receive the lessons that God wants us to learn in the midst of it.
Okay.
Right. Yes. If we do it the way your parents want us to do, we won't, we'll reap whatever worldly benefit that we can, but we will sow a spiritual discord between us. And so you have to consider what it is that on what side. And the reality is that you guys just both need to be in alignment. Now, if you guys are doing it from an aligned perspective, where even your family is respecting of the structure, like your dad did beautifully, both of us. Hey, go to your husband. Hey, go to your wife. Like your dad did that masterfully. And that's a lesson I'll never forget. But if you're not doing it like that and you're saying, hey, I think you should, then you're completely out of line. You're not in alignment, and you are now coming in between the covenant that established by God. And so I'm even thinking about like why, because marriage is a covenant.
Yes. Break down a covenant for those who don't know.
So a lot of people don't want to get married because they think it's just legalities. You go to the court, you sign a document, and now through the state of California, United States of America, you're a married couple. And so all your assets and everything is tied together. And based on that being tied together, if we ever decide to break this legal structure that is a marriage, well, then it also breaks the legalities of the finances that are associated. And so that's like, why do I want to tie myself legally when I know I love this person, right? That's one way to look at it. And that's the way a lot of people in the natural look at it. But in the Christian faith, as a follower of Christ, marriage is what we call a covenant. And a covenant is not just something that is legally binding. It's a spiritually binding promise.
Yeah.
And what that is it's now you are making a covenant, a contract between you and God.
Yeah.
And when you're in a marital covenant, it's a perfect representation of the Trinity, of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, because you're now taking these two people, bringing and conjoining them together, and then putting the third at the top, which is the Father, the Son, Holy Spirit, God, the triune God, and you are now in a covenant, a contract with Him. So it's no longer just between me and you.
Yeah.
It is a spiritual promise to God that we are going to honor you through what we're doing. And not only are we honoring you through what we're doing, we are going to be a direct display of who you are on earth through this covenant. Because when people see us, if people see Gage, they should, and they see that I'm married, they automatically know that I'm married. And then they should automatically think that if we're married, okay, then you're submitted under something under God. So when people see Gage or people see Kimberly, you should automatically have a thought of three.
Yes.
And that's why it's so important in such a paramount covenant, because when we think of Jesus, I should think of 3.
Yes.
When I think of the Holy Spirit, I should think of 3. When I think of God, I should think of 3.
Yeah.
And that's what we get to do in a marriage, and that's why it holds a lot more weight than
Yes.
just being a legally binding contract,
Yeah.
because it is a direct representation and reflection of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
Woo.
Okay?
Well, come on, sir.
But I'm glad we was able to get that out, because as we're able through marriage, the first established covenant in the Bible, Genesis chapter 2, we see Jesus talks about the cost of discipleship.
Yeah.
And because the marriage is essentially discipleship.
Yeah.
We're joining together with the God, understanding how to love one another. We're producing fruit, leading and training them up, discipling them to go and do the same. It's natural discipleship. It's family discipleship. But the cost of discipleship in Luke 14, starting in verse 25, now great crowds accompanied him, and he turned and said to them, if anyone comes to me and does not hate his own father and mother and wife and children and brothers and sisters, yes, even his own life, he cannot be my disciple.
Come on.
Whoever does not bear his own cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. For which of you, desiring to build a tower, does not first sit down and count the cost, whether he has enough to complete it?
Come on. So?
We don't count the cost of marriage. We don't count the cost of stewarding a family.
Yeah.
We'll count the cost of financing that new vehicle. We'll count the cost of a lease. We'll count the cost of whatever. But we don't count the cost of getting in a marriage. Means that it's going to cost me my original family.
Yes. Ooh, come on, Gage. Yeah, it's not only is it gonna cost me my original family, it's also gonna cost me my life. It's no longer about just me and my needs, my selfishness, my desires, my, but it's now a we. I have to think when I'm making decisions, I can't exclude you from them, because the decision I make impacts you. The decision you make impacts me. So it now becomes this thing of where we have to now consider, is this best for us in our home? Is this best not just for us in our home, but is it best for our children? And all of these different facets, because now we have to think about, it is not just me and my desires, but it's about me and my husband. It's about what we have to fulfill. It's about what God has called us to complete in this earth. What has he called us to do and complete and fulfill, whatever the case may be. But it's not just me. It's not just you.
Yeah.
It's us.
It's us.
We.
It's we.
It's counting the cost of that. This is going to take a big sacrifice in every way, shape, or form, that I have to stop and make decisions that are going to be inclusive to you. Hey, what do you think about this?
Hey, you know what? Maybe I'm just not the smartest person in the room.
That's good.
Maybe, the way I lived life for some time, maybe I made some really good decisions. It was very successful, very fruitful, and whatever I want to count fruit is. But that was fruit in singleness.
Yeah.
That wasn't fruit in marriage.
Yeah.
And so I love what you said. Like, it's going to cost you.
Yeah.
Everything that you thought, considered first was like, that's gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, like, that night when we're married, 24 hours in, and I'm in a panic attack, because I'm realizing in real time, oh, this is a cost.
Yeah.
And I got to be ready to pay up.
So good.
If I want this to be successful, if I want this to be healthy. If not, well, I'm going to have a wife that is depressed.
So good.
Pushed into rebellion.
So good.
I'm going to have kids who are disrespectful and disobedient and who don't want to serve the Lord. I'm going to have in-laws who just hate me and despise me.
Yeah.
I'm going to even have
because you didn't take care of the thing that they left. You pulled my child from this dynamic and didn't take care of them the way that you promised.
And imagine you don't even have a dad to go back to.
Yeah.
What type of man would I be?
Come on.
knowing you've gone through such life experience. Your fatherhood, your manly covering is gone.
Yeah.
Your father covering is gone.
Yeah.
For me to abuse, misuse, and mistreat you for my benefit and have nothing for you to go back to. But that's gonna cost you, Gage. That you don't think about yourself first anymore. You think about this woman first.
Man, I love you. Because that's real talk. Because I feel like that's the thing. And that honestly, like I really do appreciate you, because that's the intensity of what we felt that night, but how serious you took it. And like, I'm kind of like tearing up because like, seriously, like I can genuinely say as a wife that you 100% count that cost and you will make the sacrifice even when you're frustrated with this family, you're frustrated with this wife, whatever the case may be. You have honored the sacrifice, you've honored the covenant that you took before the Lord, because it's your worship unto him.
And now and I do just want to say this, I'm not perfect by any stretch in the means.
I didn't say you were perfect, baby.
Thank you.
I didn't say you were perfect. I just said that I love you because you really do take it that serious.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people do.
No.
Not a lot of people understand the magnitude of that, because again, telling me and even seeing it from that perspective, that's like a real awakening moment. It's like, dang, you really did take into account, like, I don't have a father, I don't have that earthly covering in that regard, but you understood the magnitude of what it meant to honor when you handed over, when my father handed, because that was the beautiful thing. My father actually walked me down the aisle. He handed me to you. And you took that on and still continue to take that on every day. And I thank you and I honor you for that. But I love that you're saying that. And I hope people get the gist of that and really walk away from that as we really are going into this covenant, we are leaving and cleaving, that you're understanding even just the weight and the pressure that men have to go through.
Yeah.
Because there is a weight and there is a pressure. There is a responsibility. And how could I not honor that in being the person that I consult with you first? Yeah. That I come to you first, that I share my heart with first, that I share my desire with you first, so that we can build that intimacy with one another rather than doing that with someone else. Like, leaving and cleaving is not just that day that you got married, but it's a daily decision to choose this partner every single day, to include them on your thoughts, to include them on your decisions, to include them on the, hey, you know what? I don't feel good today. Today I'm sad. Today I'm this. Today I don't know what to do. Whatever it is, allow that spouse, that person in, and allow them to be the one that gets every facet of you. That's how you become one.
No, I think that's so good. And it's definitely, cleaving is mutual.
Yeah.
You know, you have to be able, ready, and willing to accept it, because I've seen some partners also that don't want it.
Yeah.
They don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Yet they want it for themselves, maybe, or they want it to look like something else. But it's like, when the person comes to you, are you ready to receive?
Yeah.
And I think always being in a posture of readiness to receive, and ensuring that this is my best friend, this is the person that I love more than anything, and you know, I want to be everything for them and more.
Yeah.
Like, if we are called to be one flesh, then let's truly be one flesh.
Yeah. Every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
How are you feeling? What are you thinking? You know, I remember the other day, I think I don't know if I was having a bad day or if I was just overwhelmed. I forgot what I was going on. And you just looked at me. I think I was standing in the kitchen. You're like, "Hey, babe, why don't you just come over here and lay down?"
Yeah.
And so I walked over to you. I laid down. I put my head on your lap, and you just started rubbing your fingers through my hair.
Yeah.
And then the kids, they came and laid on us, and it was just everything I needed in that time. But you were looking at me. You were thinking of how to serve me, how to tend to me in that moment. And I didn't need any words. I didn't need anything. You just knew that I just needed some physical touch.
Yeah.
And you gave that to me.
I did.
But because you're noticing, you're paying attention, you're being mindful, you're looking into these things, and you're not just thinking about yourself in that moment, Because you had all right to.
Yeah.
You had a full day at work too.
Yeah.
You come sit down on the couch. The girls are all over you. You're tired and overstimulated, but you're looking at your husband, and somewhere in your brain is like, I want to make sure he's taken care of.
Yeah.
So
My
let me
husband
do my
needs me.
right. So now let me not think of myself.
Yep.
Let me serve him.
Yeah.
Even though I'm already stretched thin.
Yeah.
And it was, for me in that moment, I think for all of us, just a very beautifully intimate moment where we all were kind of taken care of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
I was praying too. I think that some people forget that, because in that moment, I did see what you were going through, and I saw it, like, because there's things like as husbands and wives that we probably see things, and I see things very much so in the natural, but I also saw a lot in the spiritual. And I knew in that moment I needed to pray for my husband. You didn't even know that, but I was just rubbing your hair, and I literally I saw it, and I just was like, I just went into spiritual warfare for you. I just started to pray for you. I just started to like lay hands on you, and I started to just really, really just call things out, and just call like, Lord, protect him. This is your son. My son needs you in this moment. And you have to say a word. You really didn't even say anything, and you didn't even know what I was doing. And I just was like, in that moment, it was just such a beautiful moment. But this is where we have those opportunities to, like you said, just build that intimacy with people, because there's things that we go through, things that we don't even realize what's even happening. But again, seeing things not just in the natural and the physical, but seeing things in the spiritual, and then giving our spouses exactly what it is that we need.
Yeah.
So
it was super helpful. But I would say, like, as we start to wrap this up, is like leaving and cleaving. I think we just really have to get back to a traditional view of marriage. And it's a benefit for all, like, the technology and all the resources we have today, but it's also an immense limiter. I'm even thinking about like how it impacts like psychology and therapy. And a lot of people are like, oh, you need a therapist now. But like the reality is, like, years ago in the 1800s, 1700s, therapy wasn't really a thing. Well, it wasn't a thing because we weren't so distracted.
Oh, come on.
Like,
So
when you
good.
came home, you talked.
That's right.
You had conversations.
That's good. You sat at the table.
You
looked at each other in the eyes.
You read books.
Yeah.
You asked questions.
Sure.
Right? Now we're so distracted that we don't have much dialogue in the home anymore. So we need to create spaces of dialogue that then become therapy. Right? So even just thinking of like therapy through that lens, like, what was this major shift? Well, the major shift was we just came really busy and we had access to a whole lot of information. With marriage, it's kind of the same thing. What's been that major shift? Well, we're just so inundated and distracted. And so it's like, I don't have to leave my family if I can still talk to them, text them every day.
Yeah.
I don't have to necessarily leave my family if they live down the street from us.
Yeah.
Right? So leaving and cleaving was not just, it was a very realistic process back then. Naturally realistic.
Yeah.
Now it's something that we have to be intentionally realistic about. But I also would say before that, like counting the cost, because even then, yeah, divorce was an option. Divorce was permissible, but not necessarily an option.
Yeah.
Today, divorce is just an option.
Yeah.
Heck, you can get an annulment for less. Like,
yeah.
So a lot of people go into this with the mindset of like, well, if it doesn't work out,
or they're just not even just going into it.
Or they're just not, choosing not to go into it, not to commit to anything. Because again, there's so much option and opportunity. Like when you think of, you got Hinge, Tinder, Bumble, eHarmony, Christian Mingle, Farmers Only, like
what?
Yeah, my clients be coming up with a lot.
I've never heard of that, but go ahead. That's funny.
But you know what I mean? So there's so much opportunity.
Yeah.
And I think we just need to get back to a traditional mindset, which is a biblical mindset.
Yes.
That shows us, no, leaving, cleaving was traditionally and culturally biblical.
Yeah.
And today in Western Christianity, in our Western society, we need to bring some of those traditional, um, Eastern
Mhm.
ways of doing things, which
Mhm.
is leaving and cleaving, leaving it all behind,
Mhm.
cleaving to something new, going through the process of creating and cultivating.
Very good.
Yeah. So go ahead, close this out, babe. You got
No,
this
I
one.
think you got
No, you
this.
got this.
Ah.
I trust you.
So, again, as we always say, the conversation doesn't stop because we do. So just make sure that you're just carrying on this conversation. Maybe you are a spouse right now that you maybe need to go to your husband or your wife and you're saying, hey, you know what? I'm really struggling with this conversation because of the fact that I don't really feel like you are trusting me where I'm at and where you're leading me. And we're just saying, hey, like have the conversation in a safe place, but being able to say, hey, you know what? I'm struggling with leaving and cleaving because of whatever. And being able to have the safety to have the conversation, to talk about it, but be open to hear what your spouse has to say. Be open to hear that additional dialogue about what we can do differently in moving forward to leave and cleave to one another. Because our just whole existence of, why we're here to do what we do is ultimately to give Jesus the glory, but not looking as though we are two separate people, but looking more like one every year, every day, every moment that we are together as husband and wife. So just carry on the conversation. And always, 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 we help, he heals. Have
Go
a good one, y'all.
Rams.